Hi everyone, Miss Thomas here. So I'm making this video for our next project. The first thing I want you to do is get inside your kitchen. This is my kitchen. So I invited you here because we are up to no good. We are gonna trash our kitchens in the holy grail of trying to find things to make paint out of. So there are a few things on my mind of things that I can make paint out of. Coffee is one of them. Turmeric is another one, but you can also make paint out of color. I can't think of it. Make paint out of food coloring and maybe a plethora of other things, but we're gonna try and experiment. So the goal for you today is to experiment with at least 6 different things that you find in your kitchen of different materials that you could maybe make paint out of. So I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. So the first thing that you're gonna wanna do is get a cup of water. This is just cold water, and then I put it in the microwave for like a minute and a half. And I'm just showing you stuff that I might be making paint out of, maybe some molasses, some turmeric, some paprika, some coffee grounds, some food coloring, and I have different ones. I have some neons. If you guys have leftover Easter egg dyeing stuff, you can use that. Be careful with these because they do stain. It's insane how much it it got all over my cabinets or my countertops. So I'm adding a little bit of water at a time, and this is just so that I can maybe figure out what I want the consistency to be at, right? So then I test it out on my sheet of paper, first with my spoon and then with my paintbrush. Now, if you don't have a paintbrush, I'll go over what to do with that. I found this egg carton. It's plastic to put my colors in. Just as a, you can do this one at a time, or you can store your colors. Up to you with whatever materials you have. But again, you're going to want to be doing at least 6 things. Now, this is me trying to get paprika out of the canister. Just be careful, don't break anything. And adding a little water to that, swirling it around, and then dumping it into my palette, which is my egg carton. Then I am going to do coffee. I'm going to mix that up, and I'm going to pour it in. Then I'm going to realize that I'm spilling stuff, and I'm also going to realize that the turmeric is leaking out of the egg carton, which means that I have to put plastic underneath my egg carton because it's leaking. So just be careful, because if there's holes in your egg carton, it will definitely leak. Mine definitely did. See how it has holes and it's leaking? Yeah, it was super fun. So we did emergency surgery. We put plastic on the bottom of it, and then I continued on. So I'm using food coloring, just a few drops, and you can add water to it, and it gets you an actual really awesome watercolor paint. So if you have food coloring at all, I suggest you try it. It's awesome. So I'm going to be swatching here all my different colors that I made. That was just blue. Next is turmeric. The next one's paprika. Next one is coffee. And then that's green food coloring, purple food coloring, lime green food coloring, and then I actually mixed some more yellow food coloring too. So once you get all of those, and you can see that it's kind of fun because the paprika and the yellow kind of look the same. So then once you do all of your swatches, and in this instance I did 8, but you only have to do 6. I'm going to be making value spheres. Now, we've done this plenty of times before. I'm starting this one with paprika, and then I'm using a brush, which is fine, but I'm going to show you in a minute, if you don't have a brush at home, what you can do alternatively. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of blue food coloring in there just to create the extra dark areas, which I think mixes really beautifully with the paprika color. Then I'm going to make an all food coloring value sphere, and I just start with blue. I build up the color. This is just like watercolor, so the more you use, the darker it will get. The less you use, the lighter it will get, and you're going to have to leave all your spaces for white without paint on them. So this is the final, but I'm going to show you again how I'm doing this with, instead of a brush, because I can use a brush, that's fine. I'm going to use a spoon to create a value sphere, in case you guys don't have a brush. So I scoop a lot in my spoon, but you guys can do a little bit at a time, and I start building up, again, leaving that white blank space for the highlight of that sphere. And I'm building up the shadow, and then I'm coming in, and I added a little bit of water to that just to make it a little bit more fluid. Then I added a little bit of dark, and this is what the final should look like for you to turn into your assignment. So just to recap, you need 6 different materials that you experiment with, and then 2 value spheres that you create. And then if you could label those, like what they are, so I should have labeled mine, but I didn't. And then you can just take a picture of that and turn it into E1.1. Okay? All right, awesome.